Behavioral analysis and research confirms that over long stretches of time, the best decisions are usually made with calmness, objectivity, and rational thinking. We may be able to choose the best path of action through impulsive, irrational decisions periodically, but not over the course of days, weeks, months, and years. It takes common sense, it takes logic, and it takes a realistic assessment of the consequence of action to make good decisions with any type of consistency. Good decision-making doesn't happen when we're dismissive of scientific data and other evidence that contradicts our view. Decision-making structures built around bias and a refusal to set aside prejudgment and stereotypes. How can good decision-making come from a process that's so inherently flawed? What's at stake when we allow our decision-making and problem-solving skills to become compromised by bias? Everything's at stake. In terms of our own happiness, the happiness we bring to those we love and care about, and the happiness we bring to our professional and social relationships. Our minds and our psychological well-being are at stake, as is the health of our physical body. Decision-making determines what foods we buy, what we put into our bodies, and in what quantities. Decision-making determines how frequently we eat, and how often we indulge in less nutritious but more tasty cuisine. Decision-making, along with health considerations, can determine the types of exercise and frequency of exercise that impacts our overall fitness. And all of those decisions ultimately impact our relationships and social interactions. Calmness versus chaos. Our whole demeanor is characterized through degrees of objective and biased behavior. Mental agility is found in calmness, not in chaos. In chaos, we freeze up and lose our ability to think and act clearly. Objective approaches tend to be calmer and more logical, while biased approaches tend to be more chaotic and illogical. This simple truth is understood by so many, but not always exercised. It's something not always embodied by those that believe it to be true. Contentment comes from a deep understanding of one's self and potential. It comes from being able to properly evaluate just how far apart the current self is from its true potential. Contentment is realized through the cumulative moments of the journey, when real effort has been consistently and objectively applied towards growth in our areas of weakness. The more we can understand ourselves, the greater the probability that we will reach our goals. It's important for society to understand that people have a degree of responsibility when they are deliberately feeding bias. People have a degree of responsibility when they are deliberately spreading half-truths as true. They even have a degree of responsibility for disrespectful and offensive behavior when defending a bias's claim. Just knowing and recognizing this information is powerful in itself. People also have a degree of responsibility for creating and supporting the platforms that reinforce, foster, and regurgitate the bias and the distortion of evidence and facts in order to reinforce that specific bias with deliberate purpose. Any platform that uses fear and division, that tolerates the disrespecting of individuals and groups while dismissing valid evidence and making ignorant claims that lack logic and compassion. Those are platforms that should be avoided. The danger is that society is becoming accepting of the normalization of lies, conspiracy theories, and a bully-like mentality when it comes to opinions. When the reflex is to emotionally respond with aggression and angst, how can all that negativity not impact communication and collaboration? But we have the present to change our future. We have the opportunity to lead by example. Rather than forcing conformity, we can instead shed light on the chaos and the delusion. We have the power to change the way we see, the way we think, and the way we behave, aspiring to improve, whatever that means for us. That is what is ultimately at stake, our ability to grow as an individual. Think about the qualities that we associate with our heroes. Comic book, manga, fictional, or real-life heroes like athletes and veterans. A common thread is resolve. It's perseverance, and not just perseverance in any direction, but focused perseverance. That's the journey of a hero. It's not just a single step to victory, but it's a climb. It's perseverance towards positivity, towards the greater good. That's ultimately a huge piece of what makes a hero heroic. We have that same capacity for perseverance, and what it comes down to is a series of decisions strung together over time. Our own perseverance and resolve have the power to change our view, to change our thoughts, and to change our behavior, just like bias and delusion have the power to do the same. It's the positive and the negative, and the choice is ours to make. We appreciate the time that you've invested in objective empowerment, and we hope that you've found this material insightful and meaningful. Thank you.